ran against them in 2014, made the argument we should never sign that terrible toll deal. My opponent at the time was in favor of them. He was in favor of them when he was the mayor. Cornelius supported them and defended them right up until about 2 years ago. So it's too bad that we are where we are now, but given where we are now, we need to work with the governor, who has stated the ultimate goal of having the state take control of the toll road and get us out of this terrible deal. I look forward to working with the governor to do that. My opponent voted to tie his hands and make it impossible for the governor to cancel or change the toll contract without final approval from the legislature. And unfortunately, the legislature has shown that they are not inclined to help North Mac with our terrible toll deal. So that's a step backward. What I have done personally is I've worked very hard to I've run myself against the toll roads, which is a lot more than most people have done, and I have worked to elect others who oppose the toll road project, like Chaz Beasley. I support Pat Cotham. Folks who are actually committed to doing something instead of posturing on this issue and making it worse. So I look forward to continuing to work with the governor. He is the only one so far who has shown any willingness to meet on this issue, take the concerns of the local people into account, and address the issue and help fix the problem. We cannot let this toll road continue to roll forward and make it harder and harder for our governor to cancel the contract just to deny him the win and the political popularity that my opponent and his party knows that would result.
Okay, the easiest thing to get to the facts on the level of effort, and I will concede that everybody in this room, including both of us up here, are against the current center contract. It's a stupid, brain-dead deal. And I'm quoted as saying exactly that. You can also, there should be a letter that I think was available that's signed by all the original folks that have been against the toll lanes, active in the process. In that letter, they've all said, I'm the only candidate that has worked aggressively and for over 4 years, not 2, against this contract. And that my opponent has done absolutely nothing other than say she's against it. And that's fine. That's good to be against it. I don't think anybody in here is for it. What I've done, I've been in over 30 meetings that I've scheduled in Raleigh. I've sat in meetings in the governor's office, 2 governors, McCrory and Cooper, trying to resolve this issue and working for it. The governor, by law, if you understand the legislation and you're on the floor and you deal with it, you recognize the governor is the only person that has the authority to cancel the contract. What the legislature has the responsibility to do is then appropriate the funds for whatever the termination provisions will be. But I've got involved when the I77 business plan meeting in McAlpine organized at that we were doing at Michael Walter World several years ago. And Jim Puckett and I sat on the stage. We're the only elected officials working to work with that group to get involved and be a voice against this. I've engaged the state auditor to do a complete audit of the RFP process, the contract, to look for ways that we could potentially cancel this contract. I've had legislators, both in the transportation committees. We've sat in private meetings with McCrory, with Nick Tennyson, the Secretary of NCDOT, telling him and asking him to cancel this and getting into verbal fights to the point the then Republican governor told me at an event as I walked up, he said, there will be retribution against you for being against this toll project. We will continue to fight. It is the #1 issue to get these toll lanes canceled.
You'll notice how adamantly he's saying he's against them now. And he did not address the fact that he was for them before the contract was signed, was for them for several years after, defended them. We have a radio interview as late as 2015 where he's saying that only about 200 loud people were against them, and he certainly wouldn't try to introduce any legislation to change the toll lane because only 200 people were against them. We all knew there were way more than that against these toll roads and always have been. So it's good that my opponent has come around to seeing that this is very unpopular and the damage that it will do to our area, but you cannot talk about how against these tolls you are without fessing up to the fact that you're part of the problem, part of the reason they're here in the first place. And as far as for what he's done, I would say show me anything that resulted in anything to stop this toll. What I've seen is they signed the contract, defended the contract, began building, they're almost completed, all while my opponent has been in elected office.